Hello, this is Dr. Denise Allegas speaking to you. I'm going to talk about the aspect of the no limits therapeutical approach to the bipolar disorder, personality disorder, and generally an approach to bipolar personality. We are not speaking here of psychiatric disorder. We are speaking here of a personality disorder. We may speak a little bit also about the psychiatric disorder per se, but let's start and you'll see where I'm heading. I want to speak about a very peculiar combination, which is using sports, and especially in this case using tennis as a sport, as coordinating the bipolarity in emotional and ego states within a bipolar personality disorder. So we have a patient who has never played tennis, and during the therapy we came to the idea, which my patient also approved, that he might start doing some sport, and I suggested maybe he might want to start doing tennis. And here are some aspects which arose from the therapeutical setting and from the tennis experience that he was gaining through time. And these facts are actually astonishing in this particular case with this young man in his mid-30s. So as he starts playing tennis, at the beginning he says everything went well and he liked the sports activity and he felt more in control of his emotional states. The physical activity did him well. He kind of felt more in a plus state, less in a minus state. The minus states were feeling less minus than the plus states, and the plus states didn't go so much high up, but were kind of neutralizing in a very, very small way. So this patient continues to play tennis, and as the time passes by, he continues to play more and more. And at one point, he starts playing competitive tennis on a local area. And here is something very, very interesting that happens. At some point, my patient starts having huge rage attacks and very, very strong autodestructive thoughts, but only on the field. The moment he leaves the field, the tennis court, everything is gone. He is happy, he is neutral, he is okay, he is fine. So as we speak in a therapeutical setting outside of the court, so during the indoor therapy pod, he says that he still needs to make himself aware of the great possibility, although highly frustrating on one hand, that tennis gives him. In a way, what my patient in one of the therapeutical settings describes, I can be Mr. Hyde on the court and I can be Dr. Jekyll outside. And so here's the bad one on the court and here's the good one on outside. And here is where we started talking about, well, but how do you want to play tennis? And as I personally play tennis too, I asked him, isn't it going to be frustrating if you just let all the aggression wildly out on the court? Wouldn't you want to, gain control over that too? And he said, yeah, but how? It's extremely difficult. I smash rackets, I swear, I scream, I yell. It influences my game, yes. I said, yes. But maybe slowly we can coordinate that aggression. We know that aggression is a positive energy. We can coordinate that aggression into a positive stream. But how would we do it? And here's where we started producing metaphor work, hypnotherapeutical work, in the aggression aiming work toward a positive and solution-focused aim, considering the game. So we were not talking about his bipolarity, we were not talking about his behavior outside and his ego states outside. We were talking about his behavior on the tennis court. And after 6 months of therapy, and me playing tennis with him in a therapeutic way, we approached that his game improved through the fact that he learned how to control his high amount of aggressiveness and aim it toward a positive outcome. So he had more control over his forehand and backhand, and after he made a mistake he would rage, but in a different way. So we learned new different ways to use the aggressive power in order to make another point better, in order to improve the mistake that we have been making before, and change the error, whether it's not enough spin, or whether it's too much spin, or whether the racket was open and the ankle was not tight enough. But these are tennis terms now. So what happens after 6 months? So we had 6 months, and then now we have plus 6 months. What happens after this plus 6 months was that my patient learned how to control his bipolarity on a court. And here we are having a person who unconsciously, through learning to control the severe aggressive and rage attacks on a court, learned to control unconsciously the ego states outside of the court in life. And one day, one of the feedbacks on one of the regular therapeutical settings, indoor again in the office, my patient reveals that he had a fight with his partner. He was just about to rage, and he remembered, just out of nothing, it came to me, he says. Just out of nothing, it came to me. Oh, this is now a forehand. This is a forehand, and I need to press the forehand slowly. Because if I pressure too much, my ankle would be too weak. I could play it out. And he did not yell at his fiancée. He did not rage. He coordinated his power and spoke slowly, expressed his feelings. They had a wonderful conversation in a state of high amount of pressure, emotional pressure, in a possible crisis situation. So he used the unconscious information that he gained on the tennis court in life, in relationship. And I hope, my dear listeners and viewers, that this wasn't too confusing and that you gained some insights. This was Dr. Denise Legatz to you. Bipolar and tennis. Can you make the connection?